let's cover some of the ridiculousness, because there's this particular thing that's happening right now, and I don't know if you have realized it's happening, and that is that the games journalists have decided, and journalists in general, you may remember I did a stream about it a long time ago. There's a YouTube video about it if you want to go check it out, but there was a phrase that was getting bandied around that was called unfettered conversation. People really didn't like this concept of unfettered conversation happening on platforms they don't control. Twitter belongs to the blue check American journalists. They get to dictate platform policy, essentially. They get to back channel and talk to the people that run the website, and they make features for the website based on their needs. So whenever there's a platform that comes along and isn't beholden to these people, they get mega worried about it. They start using their platforms to try and get it shut down. They did it with Substack. They did it with that other one. Can't even remember the name of it. The one where you could do like virtual town halls, essentially. So it's just one of these things where every time a platform kind of pops up that they don't control, they get super interested in the idea of shutting it down. And the one they're really going after at the moment is Discord. It's pretty weird, honestly. Let me show you this, and you can tell me what you think about it. So, we've talked about this journalist before. A chap called Eli Mistel, I believe is how it's pronounced, and writer at The Nation. This was in the middle of May, and said, I got called the N-word within an hour of playing Hearthstone for the first and only time. And I screamed into the mic, we're playing Hearthstone, we're playing Hearthstone, we're playing fucking Hearthstone, like I was Allen Iverson until my wife closed the game. Now, if anyone's played Hearthstone, you know immediately the problem with that lie. And that is that Hearthstone has absolutely no voice chat in the game. And in fact, no way of even communicating with your opponent into the game beyond a limited number of emotes. It was a deliberate choice. There's no voice chat. There's no text chat. If you want to abuse someone in Hearthstone, you have to add them as a friend. They have to accept the ad, and then you get to quickly type, fuck you, you arsehole, if you add in the top deck, and then they just delete you. Now, I wouldn't know anything about that. And certainly my Battle.net friends list isn't all people I've done that to. But that's what you have to do. Just for future reference. Seeing a strong uptake of agreement for that one. Yeah, you know. You do know what I'm talking about, don't you? So, listen, that individual saying that is an actual, obvious, provable lie. And what they're trying to do is, there's been a real strong push against voice chat in games lately. And remember, there is no difference now between games journalists and journalists. This is part of the reason why political journalism, the standard has dropped so unbelievably low. It's because the thing we always thought would never happen, happened. And that is what I told you in 2016 was going to happen. I said all of the people from BuzzFeed were going to end up at the New York Times. We're going to end up at the Washington Post. And everyone was like, no, well, that would never happen. They're just glorified bloggers. They go into games journalism. They go into lifestyle journalism. They end up at places like GQ. It's not a big deal. They will never penetrate the upper echelons of political journalism. And of course, they absolutely did. And have. And now, again, one of the things I didn't have time to pull together, but we'll probably do it tomorrow, is, this nonsense with the Washington Post, where it's like a fucking high school. You've got Taylor Lorenz, the fucking 45-year-old TikTok journalist, basically, repeatedly telling lies in her articles. She's just simply awful. And these newsrooms can't do anything about it because her colleagues are the other fucking losers that aren't fit to report on serious matters like politics. And they're pushing genuine journalists out of the newsroom. What few there are left, by the way. And you know how I feel about the journalist class. But the standards are getting appreciably lower because of this. And so you are going to start seeing weird overlaps where, because gaming is now so ubiquitous in culture, you're going to see journalists that you never thought, would ever speaking about this, and doing it for the purposes of essentially political and cultural capital. So, when I saw that, I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no way that you would tell that lie publicly And then anyway, they responded because somebody said, obviously, you tell a lie like that in public. By the way, telling a lie like that in public used to be disqualifying for a journalist. That was you would be fired or disciplined, or you would have to issue an apology or something, even if it was on your own social media, because you're eroding not just your reputation, but the reputation of the masthead that you represent, right? That's how it used to work. That was back when we had standards. A long time ago, I know. But anyway, followed it up by saying, as someone who has played Hearthstone since 2014, the game has no voice chat. How exactly did you get called the N-word and screamed at into the mic? Discord. But nice try. So I was like, wait. So first of all, your problem isn't with Hearthstone or gaming, it's with Discord. Second of all, this presupposes you voluntarily went on a Discord. You went on a Discord with total strangers. You jumped into a Discord channel with total strangers, and someone said something racist, which means they would have to know you were black. There's so many, strings to pull at this story. And of course, Discord, but nice try, because this person is not just a liar, they're a boomer, and they don't even understand the things they're lying about, So, imagine a world where you voluntarily go onto a chat program, you opt into a chat experience with someone that you've never met, and they say something unpalatable, offensive. It's just kind of sort of like that, you should be angry at the individual, I feel. Not the voice program that makes it possible. Certainly not the video game you just happened to be playing. Anyway, to further compound the lie, this individual decided, because journalists can never admit they're wrong. They can't just take the L. They can never say, I made up a story for attention. Because this is the thing. All of the other blue checks will give these people a pass. Every time they're caught in a lie, Taylor Lorenz, yes, I absolutely did reach out for comment. You provably didn't. There's timestamps on everything. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I forgot to. Whatever. That's not the real... Yeah, and everyone goes, she's doing such brilliant and vital work, and anyone who attacks is a right-wing monster. And everybody claps, right? So they don't need to take the L. So why would they? There's no need for a mea culpa. So what this individual did, there's this huge convoluted story saying, I wanted to learn Hearthstone because I've never played it before. So I sought out a Discord where first-time players can learn Hearthstone from other like-minded players. And I got in there and I was playing a game, and the person I was playing against started shouting the N-word at me. That was the story. That's the official version, like Iraq had weapons of mass destruction official version, It's like garbage. It's like complete fucking nonsense. There's no way that happened. There's no way you managed to seek out a beginner's Discord to teach Hearthstone. We're on there for one game, and the first person that happened to play you figured out not only that you were black, but that you were a journalist, and take this. And gave you the Game Awards. There's no way. That is a very clear, provable, obvious lie. I didn't think too much of that. It's just a boomer journalist having a lie on Twitter. Par for the fucking course. It's where we're at. Then I sort of clocked another article on Kotaku. And I'm telling you, get used to this. I don't want to get into this too much, because I'm also going to broach the subject at some point, because I want to... it's an important topic, and we did used to do things like that on this channel. I've just become a bit more risk averse, but I'm not going to do that. I look around and see what other people are doing, and I'm probably going to talk about it. But obviously, America's had some mass shootings lately, one of which is in Uvalde. I want to talk about that one specifically, and how it's kind of made me revise a few things, and why it's made me revise a few things. And it's not because of the mass media plucking my heartstrings emotionally. But I just want to say, if you ever needed to know how cringe conservatives can be, and this is like a little teaser into it, if you ever need to know how cringe conservatives can actually be, Matthew McConaughey's obviously from Uvalde. He's flirted with political office a few times. The White House brought him out to give a speech. Some people believe it's a cynical actor's speech designed to manipulate people's emotions on a very emotive topic. And if you go back to 2018, actually, Matthew McConaughey was very into the idea of a blanket ban on all assault weapons, which he didn't reiterate today because trying to win hearts and minds and get people to meet in the middle. On the other hand, you might believe it was a genuine, heartfelt person from a speech from a person from that community who is genuinely outraged and upset at the death of children. You can choose. There's nothing wrong with sort of putting yourself in either camp. Be skeptical. Think about these things. What blew my mind was conservatives started circulating a picture of Matthew McConaughey in movies holding guns. And they were going, "Is this you?" Like it was a fucking gotcha. "Is this you?" Like, they're films. Like, Siri, what is a movie? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is cringe. This is, like, unbearably cringe. Like, yes, it is him in a movie where he plays a criminal. Yes. Or a police officer. I mean, like, are we disarming them now? I can't keep up where you're at. Absolute cringe. It was so bad. Breitbart literally wrote an article where they added up all of Matthew McConaughey's movies where he used guns. I shit you not. That's the best they could do as a counter-argument to what he was saying. So we'll get into that cringe. We'll get into that absolute cascading cringe. But anyway, just so you know, there's going to be a little bit of shenanigans in relation to Discord. This is PC Gamer, again, few days after Mr. Mistel had his very real incident on Discord. But one of the spree shooters, one of the mass shooters, there was leaked Discord chat logs because, like anyone else, they happen to use, anyone else of a certain age, they happen to use Discord. And so there were specific requests from government officials that we must investigate these platforms that people are using, our old friend 4chan, Twitch, and Discord. So Discord is very much in the crosshairs of government because, again, it is a platform where theoretically you can have this unfettered conversation. I think, put it this way, I wish there was this same energy every time there was a group of child predators exposed on these platforms. Because, I wrote an article about that on Twitch and no government official ever contacted me. No one cared about it. We all know about what goes on fucking Discord and the memes around Discord moderators. There's no appetite to go after those type of people. But whatever. Okay, I get it. So anyway, Kotaku did this article, right? Which just seems to me to be all over the place and really miss the fucking point. So it's called "Online Voice Chat is Often a Sexist Nightmare, but it doesn't have to be. Voice chat bullying can be a huge deterrent for marginalized gamers, but it shouldn't have to be." I don't know why you've just repeated that in your tagline. So it's like, listen, yes, I agree. We've all seen clips, haven't we? We've all seen clips of when, like, a girl's playing a game and some fucking loser, some fucking pathetic beta male who can't handle having a woman in his game, insults them, gives gendered insults, impugns their skill or whatever. It's a tale as old as time. It's pathetic. It's something that I think is definitely changing and moving in the right direction. But every time you see that anecdotally, you just look at it and go, oh, it's just losers. Like, these people are just pathetic. And also as well, there's a funny TikTok video from a creator I can't remember where he used to do the N-word speed run. He was a black Call of Duty player. And he would, like, run it. He's pretty good. He'd run in and kill people. And the premise of the video was, how long can I play the game before somebody calls me the N-word? And, he got, like, the world record. He called it because he happened in something like 4 seconds. And it's like, that individual can laugh it off. But the reality is they shouldn't have to laugh it off. The reality is that's just really disgusting behavior, and people should be challenged for that behavior. Like, it's just as simple as that. But what I'll add is the in-game chat experience is not the same as Discord. A Discord should be a curated space. We've had this. My Discord's been attacked And we've had nutters on the Discord, and we've had long-standing members that weren't nutters who became nutters, because let's be real, you're under psychological attack from everything in your life at all times. So, like, just being real about it. And this got ramped up with, you know, this constant bullshit about, you know, oh, the fascist uprising in America, and you can't even hold what was a moderate opinion 5 years ago anymore because you're a bad person now, and we have to attack you, and we have to get you, and you're bad, and and everything's cultural warfare. And then, by the way, just when people were calming down on that shit, have a 2-year-long global pandemic where everyone's cooped up inside, losing their mind, can't see their loved ones dying, you can't even hold their hand, fucking just nightmare, dystopian shit, right? And all you have is the internet as a retreat, and guess what? Then it becomes super important, doesn't it? So the thing you were already over-invested in when you should have been touching fucking sweet, sweet grass, now you're fucking mega over-invested in it, and most people were, not most people, but a lot of people went over. We had people in our community that, like, I had a lot of love for. They'd been there since the start. They'd been there since the early Trash Talk days. They started posting outrageous shit. They started posting crazy shit. They started saying really fucked up things. And you know what we did? Gave them a chance. This is unacceptable. And even though it's a tough time for everyone right now, sorry, gonna have to cast you out. The needs of the many. Like, I can't have you around talking that crazy shit. And some of them have come back and said, I've changed my ways. And it's like, no, unfortunately, no. You can't. Discord's a curated space. A Discord, if it is operating as a community Discord, it's on the people that run that Discord to make sure it's a good, a positive environment for the people that use it. And I think, you know, I'm blessed to have a fantastic moderation team that take that seriously, but it's also something I take seriously. You know, if my mods didn't take it seriously, I'd get new mods, because at the end of the day, I've got a simple philosophy, and that is, like, I'll just respect everyone's fucking right to be who the fuck they are, whatever that is. I don't care about. I can't get angry over someone else's, you know, identity. It's so stupid and regressive to me that people do this, and we'll probably end up talking about this a little bit later in the stream. So anyway, Discord is not an experience that you get at random by chance. It's where you go. You have a responsibility to choose a Discord that's right for you and has content that you believe is appropriate for you, be it, you know, age appropriate, theme appropriate, whatever. And then the people who run that Discord have an obligation to curate the environment to ensure it remains that way, consistent, and to remove any elements that don't conform to that standard. So it's as simple as that. Kotaku doesn't seem to understand that in this article, right? It says here, your voice is revealing. It gives up a constellation of personal details, including your age, where you're from, and how you're feeling. This isn't always an issue, but and can even be a benefit. Your voice can let you bond with a stranger from your hometown. Your friend's voice fills you with relief when you hear it on the phone after a tiring day. But on the instant messaging platform, Discord, a voice can quickly be weaponized. Well, whoa. Why are we framing this idea that Discord is like a random thing, a random chance? And so they go on to say, the miasma of Discord's voice chat options, which is available to any of its 6.7 million active users on the gamer-focused platform, routinely swaddles the women and non-male users that enter it. On online spaces for non-male gamers like r/girl gamers, you see the fallout of this. People routinely share the abuse they receive on Discord's voice chat or voice chat in-game. Now, these are two different things. Why their voice stands out from a chorus of cisgender men. The server's reaction to hearing the difference can be sickening. I was playing CSGO and I turned my mic on to talk with my teammates, one Reddit user wrote on r/girl gamers. The next round, these two players blocked my path and wouldn't let me play. How much for your nudes? Come on, I know you have them. I'm gonna fuck you. What's your chest size, your waist size, your hip size? I want to know everything. Now, again, not condoning the behavior, but the framing is very weird here, isn't it? Because is it Discord that's the problem? Or is it the in-game voice chat that is the problem? Because obviously, when you play a video game, okay, you're thrown at random. When you play an online video game, I should say, you know, like one of these 10-player games, you know, like a Dota or a CSGO or Valorant. You know, you're thrown together with random people all across an IP latency appropriate region, sometimes not even, as you know, if you play in EU West on Dota, I run into more Iranians and Syrians and Libyans than Germans or Swedes. I run into more Russians, it's like, so it's not even regional in that sense. So you're getting a broad, very broad, selection of languages, cultures, ages, it's like it is a fucking roll of the dice every time. Now, unfortunately, you plus 9 other people, the odds are you're going to get an asshole in your game. Now, it could be on the other team, but the odds are, I think 1 in 10 people are assholes easily. I think that's an easy, it is more, isn't it? 1 in 10 people are just pricks. That's just the nature of the human experience. And unfortunately, what people will do when they're a prick, if you want to go online and attack somebody and abuse somebody, you're not going to do it. Like, there's no one sits around like smoking a pipe going, I have an incredibly strong set of principles about the people I hate, and I will express that next time I'm playing a video game. No. They'll attack you for anything they can intuit might upset you. And so, yes, it's awful. If you're a girl and you play and you go on the voice chat and you say something like, hey, can I get some help up here? Or, oh, I'm going to come down there. And you hear like a male gamer like audibly groan, oh, no, breaks items. Like I've seen it happen with Sheepstick before, and she's an amazing, player. It's crazy. It really is. And, it happens all the time. I mean, think about the recent scandal as well with like, Jason R, right? Which, again, I didn't wade into it despite people asking it. It's no secret I don't like that dude. But, I think, there is something a bit weird and fucked up when you sort of publicly are on record as sort of saying, my assumption about women is this, and I would just rather not play with them. It's like, kind of gross. So anyway, it's a shame, but it's something that you can control and mitigate, because you should talk, obviously. And as soon as they start being an asshole, my experience is, you've just got to mute them and play your best. No different as if they were abusing me. I've been recognized in a number of games. I had to stop playing CSGO when I was in the States because my voice was so distinctive that they would go, you're Richard Lewis. And then it's like, why did you get I by power banned? Why did you get I by power banned? Why? And just team flashed and team attacked and voted off in the last round. And, that was my life, I was trying to, so I just, fuck it, I just can't play the game anymore. It's just unplayable. Like, I'm not comparing that to being, abused on a misogynistic or racist level, obviously. But, it's like, all you can do in that moment is you can make a decision to engage with the asshole and argue and maybe cathartically you work something out. Or you can just be like, you know what, not today. Fuck you, I got the tools, and boom. Now, that's in-game. That's in a game. Right? You can't control who you play with in a game when you randomly queue up. You can bring along a few friends. I personally think Valve make terrible games for single player experiences. I think Dota and CSGO are awful games to play alone or just a duo, but they are fantastic if you queue up as a 5 with friends. Some of the best games ever made for that. With that experience in mind, that's something also I would say you think about. But again, if you do want to play solo, as is your right, you're probably going to encounter an asshole. And that's that, unfortunately. And you've got tools to mitigate it. Sometimes you just have to accept, I'm going to get griefed. I'm going to get griefed. It's going to happen. Now, at the other side of the equation, if I go on a Discord and someone's doing that, well, that's outrageous. The admin should be doing something about that, right? So that experience on Girl Games is nothing to do with Discord, but they are putting it Discord adjacent, as if the people were on Discord saying these things on Discord when they were in-game saying these things in-game. A Discord is a curated space. And this is interesting, actually, because they cite an expert and they say marginalized users, especially women, non-binary people, and trans folks, are more likely to experience harassment in voice and video chats. The reason for this comes from what social media scholar, we've got them now, Alice Marwick, has called attack vectors. The idea is that when someone becomes a target of harassment, regardless of what sparked the original confrontation, the target's various marginalized identities become vectors for additional attacks against them. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't know it had a fancy academic title. Yes, that's what they do. That people will say any shit to get a rise out of you. So then it talks about how people are asking for voice changer recommendations, which obviously is like super sad that you would even need to think about that. But that is, again, not for Discord. That is for in-game. And then they go, Discord voice chats, verbal abuse. So Discord voice chats, verbal abuse. Not voice chat in. They keep coming back to Discord, and it's like, this is not a Discord problem. Discord voice chats, verbal abuse keeps gaming insular and gamers afraid. You can find the root of the problem in the aggressor, their misogyny, and their need to act heartless for no reason other than anonymity making it feel easy. But until everyone is able to look inward, what a day that will be. Non-male gamers shouldn't have to miss out on voice chat just because people want to make them feel strange and small. There is absolutely a space for everyone in gaming. Read on for expert-backed advice in how to claim yours in Discord's voice chat. And then it even says here, get picky with Discord's many communities. Yeah, they're all curated. It's so bizarre to me because Discord is actually the alternative to in-game voice chat. You can mute the in-game voice chat, and if you're playing with friends, just use Discord, not have to engage with what the enemy is saying or other teammates are saying, and just play your game. You can meet like-minded people, so you never have to solo queue. You can engage in communities that genuinely value and support you. Why are you saying this is a Discord problem? This is not a Discord problem. Discord is the solution to the problem. Why would you want to shut down Discord? Well, you have to suspect they want to shut down Discord and make it this big, scary nightmare for women and trans and non-binary people, because obviously if you do that, then you get to write about it, you get to have all the outrage about it. No, you should be promoting Discord, you fucking lunatics. This article is such a weird, twisted, convoluted mess. And then obviously it just goes into obvious stuff. Pick a Discord that's right for you. Yes, obviously it's an opt-in experience. It's a curated experience. If you need to, bring down the block hammer. Yes, if someone's harassing you on Discord, guess what? You can block them. And then, just at the end, you might be the problem. Brilliant. Fantastic. What a nonsense article. What a load of hot fucking garbage. You need to make a decision. I am all in agreement, by the way, that every game, because this was interesting, actually. I remember when the Twitch, what were they called again? The Twitch Safety Council, right? I remember when one of the people on the Twitch Safety Council famously said they wanted to ban all voice chat from games. And again, all the chudder rose up on it. And what they had said was they'd outlaid a bunch of very realistic problems, which is, maybe a trans person's voice doesn't align with the gender they're presenting in the game, or maybe a woman doesn't feel comfortable speaking in a very male-oriented space. All of these things. By the way, these are valid points. These are valid points that you should probably listen to, because voice chat is woefully inadequate for what we want to achieve when you queue up into these games, and that is that we want to win, we want to achieve some sort of semblance of teamwork, and we want to win games off the basis of that teamwork, and maybe meet some like-minded people along the way. That's the online gaming experience, pretty much. And so, the fact that voice chat can be antithetical to that means that we do need better tools. Like, I really like games that, remember, it wasn't that long ago, Dota never used to have a ping system. CSGO never used to have a ping system. There's ways now that you can communicate without having to use voice. And I think they're valuable. I know people are like, you've got to get on mic, but if you don't want to, there should be options where you can still communicate your intentions. And I think a lot of games have done decent work. Apex Legends, another good example. There's examples of games that have done decent work, but I think they can get better. They can, they can be almost an entire replacement for voice chat if you intuitively create them the right way. So I have no issue with alternatives to voice chat, frankly, but you have to understand Discord is one of those alternatives. There was also another piece that was, again, Kotaku, stupefyingly horrible. This is from a while back now, and I just never got round to talking about it. But again, trying to milk that outrage. Now you can see immediately this is about the streamer awards that happened, way back. And another thing that Kotaku keep trying to push, and games journalists keep trying to push, they're really going after the cartoon frog still. They're really going after the racist frog still. It's still there. You'll still every month see an article about, is the racist? Listen, to most people, there is no need to pretend this frog is racist anymore because Trump's gone. That's the truth. Again, if you ever want to know the history of Pepe, you can watch, there's a 45-minute video about it on my YouTube channel called Richard and Sam on Pepe. We did a very brief series of about 3 or 4 where, we talked about popular memes, because every popular meme that came around in the Trump era was racist. Harambe getting shot was racist. All this like mad stuff. Like, people just made shit up because that was the way you got into the public realm of opinion. But I saw this one back at the time and I just thought it's fucking pathetic that they're still pushing this. Obviously, there was the Streamer Awards. They were run by a very popular streamer called QT Cinderella. I think I've talked to her a few times on the Trainwrecks podcast back in the day before I lost my mind. And I don't even know if Trainwrecks even does podcasts anymore. Every time I go over to his stream these days, he's just there with a million yard stare. Which I saw that a lot in my time in Vegas. Yeah, and probably on the Raj Royale, actually, maybe was a better one. Sorry, the Austin show. I don't know if Austin is still doing that. He seems to have ascended into the pantheon of gods, so as happens. But anyway, this was another article where, look, they also did this thing cynically, where the link to this had in the words Hassan Abi, right, our good friend Hassan, and Pokemon. And what it had cynically done was take like the largest woman streamer and the largest sort of political streamer and intimate that they were adjacent to the Pepe symbol just to get some sort of extra traffic and extra engagement. So you can see there, they go, Streamy Awards pulled in 380,000 concurrent viewers as big-name broadcasters like Hassan Abi and Pokemon made appearances to pick up their golden trophies. However, many weren't happy with the event for one particular reason. The trophy is getting confused for Pepe the Frog. I believe, actually, in the original version of this article, they didn't know the difference between Pepo. I can't believe I'm going to have to explain this as well. That there is a difference between Pepo and Pepe. Which I'm ashamed I know this, because no grown man of my age should know this. But anyway, this raised eyebrows. This raised eyebrows shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Pepe has a complicated history. Did you know that? Did you know Pepe had a complicated history? I didn't, but it does, apparently. He has a very complicated history because he was initially started out as an apolitical character, right? Which, by the way, he's inarguably an apolitical character still to this day, because it's a ubiquitous character that's used in a variety of settings across the political spectrum. It transcends politics because, it's a cartoon frog. But Pepe has a complicated history, initially starting out as an apolitical character drawn by American cartoonist Matt Fury in 2005, before it was appropriated by the alt-right. That was it. That's the whole history there, apparently. That's the complicated history. So, Matt Fury drew a frog 2005, and then it was co-opted by the alt-right. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need to know anything else about it. That's the history. That's, which, by the way, that sounds pretty simple to me. If that was indeed the history, which, of course, it absolutely isn't the history. That's what we call a lie. That's not what happened at all. Just to refresh our memories, everyone was fine with the cartoon frog until Trump supporters in 2016 started using the cartoon frog to show an appreciation for the cartoon frog users, aka centipedes, that were using the cartoon frog in a variety of settings, which obviously previously had been used in a million settings, from, being in Disney and Hello Kitty and, yes, Nazi uniforms, because it's a blank avatar to which you can apply anything. Donald Trump Jr. decided to put in a meme called The Deplorables, which had Donald Trump done as a Pepe the Frog. So Hillary Clinton used the Daily Beast, which her daughter sits on the board of, to write an article about how it is definitely a white supremacist symbol. Then Hillary Clinton's website wrote an article about how it's a white supremacist symbol, always has been, always has this history. And by the way, that article's deleted now. It only exists in the archive. Hillary Clinton was so embarrassed after she lost, she deleted that. And then they pressured the ADL to say it's a hate symbol, which they say here, the Anti-Defamation League added it to its database, a hate symbol. But what it says on the ADL, not even the ADL could pretend this was a real hate symbol. So they said context matters, by the way. It's not a hate symbol most of the time. That's what it literally says on the ADL website. So that's what they did. That's the complicated history, that it was hijacked by both sides of a bitter political nightmare, you know. Anyway, this hasn't stopped hate-mongering racists from continuing to use the image all over online spaces, from 4chan to Reddit. Notorious racist hotbed Reddit, the most fucking broken liberal circle jerk that there's ever been, probably, of any forum ever. Some have tried to argue the statue isn't Pepe, but instead Pepo. This is the state of the internet. A supposed gentler rendition of the memeified frog that sometimes pops up in Twitch chats. The problem is, the average person doesn't know who that is. Most folks are only aware of Pepe, which might explain why some took to social media with confusion about the trophy's potential negative connotations. The trophy is monochrome and also boasts less detail, which might make it easier to confuse the two, if indeed it's not Pepe. Now, far be it from me to suggest you're deranged. If you're sat staring at a metallic bust of a cartoon frog, trying to figure out if it's Pepe or Pepo, you might have bigger problems than what's going on in the world today. You might need to scale down. You might need to scale down that search for truth. Let me just read you this part. As you can guess, oh, I can guess, lots of folks talking about the trophy are baffled by the design. Why the Streamer Awards and Cutie Cinderella would try to reclaim such a toxic image is puzzling, to say the least. One streamer named Kami Anva summed up the discourse, summed it up perfectly. They've summed it up perfectly. Using Pepe as the award tells a lot of us we're not welcome there. They said, I hope this is unintentional. Please, anyone who was unaware, educate yourself on the history of this frog and how it's become a dog whistle for white supremacists. And there it is, because in the original, as I said, they didn't even know the difference between Pepe and Pepo. Imagine having to issue this correction. This story has been updated to reflect the Streamer Award trophy could resemble either Pepe or Pepo. Now, I've pointed out a few times on these Kotaku pieces, haven't I? That Kotaku is so staggeringly, stupefyingly awful now that it's even to, and this term is becoming so passé, blasé, it needs to be phased out, woke. It's had its time like SJW and everything else. We need another, I don't know, mental I'm going to use just for now. It's become too mental for even its hardcore audience. Because every time, like when they did this with Critical Role, you remember. And I know ironically I used the word woke in that title. We're no more woke. We need another word for what it is. Because I'm sick of woke now, and it makes you look like an idiot. It does. It really does. It sounds so cringe. But anyway, they've become so fucking over the top that even their core audience is like, yo, what are you talking about? Look at this. Pepe is used literally, top comment. Pepe is used literally everywhere on Twitch. In every single chat room nearly. It has not been co-opted by the extreme right. It was attempted to be co-opted, and in my opinion, it failed. Exactly my thoughts. Not acknowledging this fact, it's a huge failure by the writer of the post. This one, it's been a hard battle to sort of reclaim it, but it's been making strides. Yeah, everyone jumped on that, but nobody ever thought to tell the alt-right to fuck off and instead just let them take whatever they wanted. The way this went down in the media signals, the alt-right can literally grab whatever characters or symbol they want, and everyone else has to stop using it immediately. Well, fuck that. It's not Pepe, it's Pepo, and he is innocent and cute. It's not Pepe, it's Pepo, and he is innocent and cute and a reflection to all stream viewers. Not wrong. Fuck the Nazis, and fuck anyone who thinks that this or Pepe claims it as a hate symbol. Never has been, never will be. Exactly this. Pepo has been a staple on Twitch for years and is very on point as a mascot for nearly everyone involved in the award show. And Pepe has never had any negative bias on Twitch. It has been a primary base for expression emotes for years and continues to be that. Why'd Pepo happy? I'm not surprised by the lack of research in this article. Seems like easy clickbait for the author. I feel so bad for Pepe's artist. It must be such a horrible feeling seeing something you created, even just a dumb frogman doodle, get co-opted and turned into a hate symbol. So, it's too much, guys. We're past it. Trump's out. The bad man's gone. It's all okay. No more mean tweets. You've got very competent governance now, very progressive, competent government now, which is why 21 black staffers have left Biden's White House for undisclosed reasons in the, 18 months or whatever. It's going very well. No. Joe Biden, the former segregationist, is going to fix everything, right? You got what you wanted. You can stop with the cartoon frog, and we don't need to do this anymore. We don't need to do it. You won. You got what you wanted. Enjoy it. Do a fucking victory lap. Congratulations. And then, if you ever need an example of just how much brain rot sets in with this stuff, the next one I'm going to show you is absolutely, and I mean absolutely, staggering. And it's kind of interesting because it literally overlaps with something else that happened in my life. So, the full roster for the latest Street Fighter game came out, and Ian Walker wrote an article, okay? And you probably know that name. Let me tell you a story. Back when I was doing E-League, remember that? It used to be on the telly, didn't I? It's all been downhill since then, hasn't it? Fat, washed up, old. Look at your beard. Look at this. Look at it. You haven't even trimmed your beard, and you're coming on stream, all sweaty. Look at the sweat patch. Look at it. You're just a fat, sweaty old man. You used to be on telly. What happened? You fell off. L ratio. Okay, glad we got that out of the way. So, look, back when I used to be on TV, one of the things that I wanted to do, because the very first esports event I ever went to was a fighting games event in Wales, funnily enough, so not a big one. But I ran one with a company called Electronic Dojo that I had a friend who worked for back when I was working at that LAN center Amiga sector, right? So, I always liked the FGC initially because I recognized the grassroots element to it. And when I went to E-League, obviously the first game we were doing was Counter-Strike. That was the one. But then when we started having our creative meetings, and we were kicking ideas around about what game are we going to do next, any ideas, because they wanted good, engaging content, I said, why not the FGC? Why not? They've never had anything this big. They'll super appreciate it. I'm pretty sure we can get on board with, Capcom. We've got DC, because obviously this is a Time Warner company, Turner. We've got DC content we can use, we could go with Justified or, whatever the fuck. And, we should start. We should start going down that road. And everyone felt it was a good idea. We were doing some research. We actually had a guy called Leo who used to be a competitive player on our executive team. He was the social media coordinator and everything else. Sorry, Injustice, not Justified. I'm thinking of fucking Tim Oliphant and Walton Goggins, aren't I? Terrible series, very overrated. Anyway, they had all of that, and so it just made sense. We decided it'd be real good. We did some research, looked at some videos, looked at pop-off culture and all this other stuff, and there you have it. And the rest is history. And what I very quickly noticed was from the moment, and I mean from the very moment it was announced we were doing it, and I was going to be host. And by the way, I didn't want me to be the host. I was going to hire other legendary hosts. I would have happily stepped off, but E-League wanted me to do it. I'm the host at E-League, I've just done the CS season. There has to be some continuity there. So, yeah, I'm going to host it, and we're going to bring in some talent. And from the moment it was announced I was going to host it, it was just he's a racist, because that's the, go-to insult. He's a racist, he's a bigot, you can't have him as host, he's a Nazi, he worked at Breitbart for 6 months, etc., etc. And, this just kept spilling over into death threats and abuse and blah, blah. And one of the people that was driving this was this fucking loser, this Ian Walker, because Ian Walker is touch grass incarnate. He's got nothing. He used to do like some blog, Shoryuken or whatever the fuck, and he'd made some real bad relationships with a bunch of the players at the time, and so he was tweeting endlessly going, Ian doesn't care about fighting games because Nazi Richard Lewis is going to be in the host chair, and he was just tweeting this stuff endlessly, and I just replied to him going like, are you ill? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're a journalist, you're going to want to come here, you're going to want to press pass, wind your neck in, maybe don't accuse everyone involved with the show of being like a Nazi that doesn't care about anything when we're putting more money into your game than has been seen for a while. Just fucking chill. Anyway, eventually on a long enough time scale, he acquiesced and did some sort of fake apology about how, because he wanted a press pass or some content or something, there was some angle to it. And he basically said oh yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said these things. But the bottom line is everybody I met was like, oh, that guy's a fucking loser. He's a loser. He's a real loser. It's really sad, actually. He only has fighting games. He's got nothing else. And eventually, like a lot of losers, what happens is people that don't have anything in their lives, they get sucked into the world of online politics and slacktivism, because it's not activism. You're not going out there. You're just tweeting things endlessly. But they get sucked into it because it's a very good time sink, and it makes there's similar-minded people around you, all typically that are similarly under-socialized in some way. And, you fall into it. And so he started doing that, obviously, because there was already a lot of people like that in the FGC. Basically, as I said, the large parts of the FGC and Overwatch, they're essentially the people that believe the internet is a terrible and terrifying place full of fascists. So they see it everywhere. You can't do anything about that. And by the way, if you pander to those people and even give them the vaguest notion that their view of the world is correct, you're in for a very bad time. Because these people only really care about the fictitious cause in their mind where they're a hero. They don't care about the actual cause. They don't really care. They're not going to put themselves out to do anything. They're not going to go, they're not going to put themselves in harm's way to stand up for a principle. They just want adoration online from strangers. They just want to feel like they're the good person. They're the hero in their own story. It's really sad. It's really tragic, and it's sad to see a generation of young people so fucked up by the internet that this is all they have. It does make me sad, because I've said it many times. People go, but aren't you terminally online? Aren't you a fat neckbeard? Aren't you a loser? Yeah, now, at the end. Not in my prime. I did unbelievably cool shit you can't fucking imagine in my prime. I wouldn't have been doing it at 19, 20, 25, 27. Now, I'm a fat old man. I'm a boomer. I get to do whatever I want as lazily as possible. But I did my cool shit. That's the difference. You skip all the cool shit, and you're just going to end up fucking criminally depressed by the time you're my age, because you wasted the good years. The years where you're physically fit and young and handsome and can go places, carefree, take risks. So I think it's sad. Anyway, so this guy is gone after me a bunch. And he's not beloved in any way, shape or form in the fighting games community. He's considered really, really tragic, really, really sad, really, really stupid. And he's always trying to present himself as an authority. There's a couple of people like this. They're the authority. They've been around the fighting game scene for a long, long time. Well, Ian Walker, unfortunately, he's out of his mind. And, you're about to see Exhibit A for why that would be true. And that is that he doesn't understand what a black person is. I've talked about this before on streams. Americans seem to believe African American is interchangeable with black, and it isn't. Speaking as someone that lives in a very diverse part of Britain with a very strong Caribbean presence, you are erasing people. Literally, with your linguistic nonsense. African American is not interchangeable black. African American specifically refers to people that, descendants from people from Africa. I've also said this. I think it's a woefully inadequate term to describe the diversity that comes out of the African, diaspora, because a Nigerian and a Ugandan, they're not the same people, and it's like, it's really reductive. It's never made me feel comfortable. I really hate, actually, American linguistics around descriptors for black people. I think it's gross. I think it's gross when you turn on a fucking political channel and it's MSNBC and they're meant to be liberal and they're going, well, Joe Biden is doing really well with the blacks. The blacks. Oh, it makes me sick. You mean black people, right? You mean people. It's shocking to me. It's shocking to me. It really is. It makes me feel ill to hear that kind of language bandied around. And that, by the way, is the preferred nomenclature of a group of people that are incredibly diverse with different histories and different backgrounds. It's repulsive. Most European people feel the same way, by the way, my American friends. Yeah, the black vote. What do you mean? What do you mean? How are black people this political monolith to you in America? And wait, you're the good guys? You're the non-racist party and you're saying that? Nah, I'm sorry, I'm out. This is ridiculous. You got so much growing up to do as a fucking nation. When even the good people speak that way, the theoretically good people speak that way, it's repellent to anybody that doesn't harbor any kind of bigotry in their hearts. So it's having lived out there and obviously living in the South for a time and working with many amazing, black, content creators, very talented people, it's just the way the linguistics around the topic never sat right with me. But I've never seen anything like this because Ian Walker, right? Street Fighter had their entire new roster leaked. And Ian Walker wrote an article saying that one of the people, Kimberly, is going to be the first playable black woman in Street Fighter. Now, that's patently false. There have obviously been black women in the game before. But when you see the justification for his erasure of Elena being a black woman in Street Fighter 3, I think, you'll be astounded, how anybody can say this out loud. But this is what it does to your brain. So a user in the response to the article said, Kimberly, who was prominently teased at the end of yesterday's Street Fighter 6 presentation, will be the series' first playable black woman. Elena in Street Fighter 3 is definitely a black woman from Kenya. There are some arguments for Pullum, Perna, and Laura. She is Sean's sister, who is canonically Afro-Brazilian. Ian Walker, on his... Again, I can't imagine this. Black, in this instance, specifically refers to an African-American woman. Believe me, I'm aware of Elena, Laura, and Pullum, Perna, but they're Kenyan, Brazilian, and Saudi Arabian, respectively. It's different. Now, a staggeringly terrible take, but one that actually, if you think about it a bit too much, sort of has racism at its core. Because you are saying a black person, an African American specifically, is black, but an African isn't, and they are indeed different. Different in a way I don't really want to start exploring on a Twitch stream, frankly. What do you mean, Ian? Now, you have got to get out of that. You have got to stop digging. That is mental. There is no one, not even the most demented progressive, is going to read that and go, yeah, that's a very good take, actually. The lack of African-American... what do you... this is absolutely true, by the way. Americans are so divorced from an understanding of the rest of the world, they don't understand what the African and African-American comes from. This is what I mean. It's just an interchangeable word in a lot of their minds for black, right? They really don't. I'm telling you, there's the evidence. There's the proof in the pudding. Now, obviously, people saw this comment and it went on, Twitter and everything else. Now, what you don't do, Like, don't double down on this. Maybe apologize, you misspoke. You know, what I meant was actually, we've not had African-American representation. There's a lot of African-American people that play the game. It would make sense to have an African-American just for the purposes of being able to engage with it, because culturally, maybe a Kenyan and an African-American people have different views on things. So I apologize. I didn't mean to make this about race. I sort of meant to make this about just something. Just, you know, stop digging. But no. Nope. You celebrate Street Fighter 6, including the franchise's first playable black woman, and suddenly everyone wants to question your street cred because you forgot about Elena. I've been playing fighting games for almost 30 years. Elena is Kenyan. Kimberly is African-American. There's the difference. All right, mate. Well, surely you leave it there. You can just leave it there. You can step away from the Twitter account. Oh no, you appear to have tweeted again. The same thing happened every time black women used to ask for representation in Overwatch before Sujon. Symmetra is Indian. Farah is Egyptian. They do not reflect the unique and separate culture of the African diaspora in America, which rarely receives attention in games. Now you're Egyptians. Listen, I hate to break it to you, Ian. There's a very popular meme that discredits, a very popular racist meme that discredits Egyptians as being black. You may have heard of it. You are now, whether you know it or not, you are literally invoking that racist meme. Mental. So there's got to be an awareness at some point. Like your awareness has to kick in, but it doesn't. And then he tweeted, "I'm going to stop tweeting about this." I'm going to stop tweeting about this because people aren't engaging in good faith. Which is the new classic, by the way, the good faith. Mad, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. You know, not a lot of good faith when you were falsely calling me a racist, a bigot, a Nazi, a right-winger. No good faith there. But now good faith is important because you've said a racist thing publicly without meaning to. No, I'm not saying I think he's a racist. But, you know, we talk about this, like, bigotry, don't we? That, like, lurks inside of us and manifests itself sometimes in different ways. You know, prejudices that you don't think about, but then they come out, they materialize. It makes you wonder, is all I'm saying. Absolutely crazy. And this is what I mean. Like, these are the people, by the way, that are doing all your games journalism. It's like, this is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on games journalism. It's like, it's so fucked up that you can write that down and think about that. And, yeah, you commit that public. Ridiculous. So, yeah, Kotaku remains a dumpster fire, a flaming shithole. People are coming for your Discord. Watch this space.